There is no sound. I think there's sound now. I I've never heard so many sheeps in my life. This thing has just been going on rotation. Uh, Welcome. I wrote in the newsletter that I was scared shitless to do this presentation, and I'm just gonna keep the chat window open here so you guys can tell me if the audio's all right here in the beginning. I just want to make sure that that we're good. Um, I have so much on my heart. I have so much I want to tell you guys, and I don't even know where to start. Um, this whole journey about Soundpaint 5 and the Looper began many years ago. I was on a spiritual retreat, and when I felt I needed to be reclusive in the evenings, I just sat down and drew down the Looper. So it's been with me for many years, and I didn't want to force it. I kind of wanted to just let it inform me over the years as I slowly was developing it. But then suddenly it hit me. I don't know about you guys, but for me, I keep going back to music from the 60s to the 90s. That's sort of, and if you look at listening trends, you'll see more and more people as well going back, listening to that period of music. And I, the one thing all that music has in common was that it was produced with analog means. People were recording to tape, they were playing in hand. You kind of needed to write a good tune in advance. You kind of needed to have a song in mind. It wasn't some soulless dead Suno prompt or a static grid in a sequencer. People were really playing. And I think in the era we're going into now, more and more people want to embrace the older ways of making music, but we're at a point now where we can also super enhance that experience. So before we get into today, let me just mention briefly what the premise of today's little tour de force through Soundpaint 5 is. I'm not going to be touching so much on Soundpaint 5, though I will quickly run through it so you guys have an idea. I'll probably be using aspects of it here and there, but this video is predominantly about the looper. The idea with winners and loopers is that we take all the people that submitted to our one sound contest. We have this specific contest where people can submit one sound. And the two last winners submitted a piano pedal noise and a coffee machine, just a single sound source, and made music with that. And because we have the looper now, what we're going to be doing today is to run their music through the looper and then make new music with it. Of course, we're going to listen to it as well. We're going to pick out the winners. And before we get into it, let me just preface that everyone who partook in the contest are going to get the looper for free. Soundpaint 5 is actually a completely free product. The only thing that's not free is the looper. We have a web page up, you can pre-order all that stuff. But anyone who partook in the contest, in the second contest, will get it for free. We just thought that was the least we can do for all you patient guys. You've been so patient. So I'm gonna keep an eye on the chat here. Just ask me questions. I'll reply in real time and we're gonna get into it. So before we get into the looper, which is very deep and very light at the same time, let me just briefly take you through what Soundpaint 5 is about overall. Up here, we have something called Brush. Brush is a sample editor that's built into it. It's highly intuitive. You can just drag samples in on the grid here. They'll stack and layer just like they do in Contact. You can automap if they're named correctly. It will do it by itself. We have crossfades and X-fades, and you can declick and all that good stuff. Find loops as well. That's Brush. We won't be using that today, but it's just to give you an idea about what's inside of Soundpaint. You may be familiar with our racks. Racks have been reorganized. We have new racks as well. For example, we have a round robin rack that comes really handy for certain libraries, Rhythmic R and others. And other ways to do round robin. Neighbor down here is something I always wanted. It is actually an old trick from the early days of sampling that if you didn't have round robin, you could borrow from the neighbors and then create round robin with that. That's kind of cool. We have new modules like Vintage Drift. This is based on, this is gonna sound overly sophisticated, but what's called component modeling for analog synthesizers. So certain old school synthesizers, each voice had a unique card on it, and the voices would sort of drift and develop personality. We've built that into Soundpaint, so if we weren't vintage enough, we are certainly vintage now. And then we got our effects. We have a whole new section of effects here. Booster, gate limiter, expander, transient, and particularly this one here, and I'm gonna come back and use this a lot. This is our pump shape. It's a side chainer that's built in. It connects directly to the looper, so you can side chain over your loops. We're gonna get into all that. And then we have our new arpeggiator as well. So the new arpeggiator has 128 steps here, but it's actually over 2,000 steps. You can glue the steps now. You can subdivide the steps into 16, so you can do completely crazy things like, you know, whatever. You can randomize it as well here and so forth. We also took all the classic swing modes from all the most famous drum machines, so like the Lindrum or the 909, and built them in. These are sample accurate swings, and you can also modulate swings, so you can go from static to modulated type of swings, so that's kind of wild. And then we have a chord inverter. So for those of you guys who play piano, you know you can do inversion of chords. That's built into the arpeggiator as well. You can mirror your inversion so it plays both ways. Complete insanity. That's roughly Soundpaint 5 on the surface. But I'm just gonna check the chat here, see here. People say, yeah, you can't download it yet. Soundpaint 5 is not available yet. The looper is for pre-order. This is simply just the first sort of sneak preview at Soundpaint 5. It's in beta right now. Things are going well. We're just going to be open and say, hey, like, this is going to come in the summer of 26. It could be a few weeks. It could be 3 or 4 weeks. We don't really know. It comes down to the beta. The only thing we know is that it's ready when it's ready. The second the release is out and the looper is out, the pre-order also stops. So that's a way, because we never wanted Soundpaint to be on sale, so that's the only window we get to buy. I should also mention for those of you guys who work on laptops, and this is something we're going to be exploring this summer, because I'm going to be traveling around and try to do live streams just from a laptop. We built it in so you can use your keys on the laptop to play with, so you actually don't need anything else. And as you'll see in this video here, when we use the looper, we can actually, I don't know if it's possible to do this. Let's just try. I'm gonna go into the looper right now, and I'm gonna try to whistle through my web camera here. I don't know if I can stream 2 different ways at the same time, but let me just try to show you guys. This is a little party trick. You ready? So I click on the mic here, and I'm just gonna whistle 1 note. This is our wave editor, and we got my whistle right here. If you guys can hear this, and I think you can, just write yes in the chat or whatever. I'm gonna click sustain here. We have different ways you can slice up the sound here. I'm gonna click sustain, and then now my whistle is all over the keys here. So I can play it now, except I don't hear anything, but I see it. It's very subtle whistle. Oh, we have an effect. Okay, let's turn that ARP off as well. Here's the whistler. Hold on, I'm not sure. Are you guys seeing the UI here? Because I'm seeing something different on my live stream. It looks like the video is still running. Maybe I'm a little bit confused. Can you guys see the UI? Let me see here. I'm gonna boost it up a little bit. When I look right now, I see the initial like intro video running. I don't see myself playing. Can you guys see the UI right now? It's on the ARP. It shouldn't be on the ARP. It should be, right now you should be able to see, okay, you guys, UI is visible, perfect. So you guys can see the actual wave of my whistle right now. I just wanna make sure we're good. Anyway, we have a playable whistle. This is me whistling, and let me just boost it a little bit. So I'll choose one of the new effects, our booster here. UI and audio is on, perfect. Okay, we're good. So this is my whistle. And the idea is really that it's that quick. So when you're on your laptop, you can just whistle or record something, and as you'll see, you can virtually take any sound and just drag it right into the looper. You can even take a video with your iPhone and drag it into the looper. It'll just strip the video and go straight to audio. So we virtually built any possible way to import audio, and apparently I can do a live stream and do this shit at the same time. So that's sweet. And then we can add some effects, for example, like This one probably good with a little bit of reverb. So that's how easy it is to record something. Now, you can see here that we have sliced and sustain and velocity. I want to point these things out in the looper and specifically because I keep coming back to them. So right now we were clicking on sustain, that made that whistle into a sustained note, but we could also slice it up. So slicing is a classical way used for MPC and hip hop and chopping up beats and all that stuff. And it can detect the transients in it. Granted, this is a whistle, so it's a little bit weird. We can also just say, hey, chop it up as a grid. I'm gonna chop it up in like 32 parts. And now the whistle is chopped up into tiny little parts. And it's commonly like easy to use the arpeggiator. And we can add a filter to them. You guys with me? So you'll see that we're taking the same sound source, and the most important part about all this is that I'm in the flow at all times. The thing that took me years to figure out is how to create an environment where I'm in the flow state at all times. This is the most important part of Soundpaint and the looper, and I think everything for us moving forward. It is not a competitor to a DAW. I wouldn't even compare it to a DAW. In fact, we're trying to make it not a DAW. It's the idea of being in an environment where we're constantly in the flow. And that just leads to a different type of music. And that's why I mentioned in the beginning, this sort of whole idea about like vintage music and how music was created from the 60s to the 90s. It's really what it's about. So, for example, we got my little whistle here. And I can play it like... And we can try to use the chord inverter. Now, where's the loop? What are we doing with the looper? Because right now we're not doing anything. So let me just clear the looper here. I click the reset button up here. That's it. Let's just clean up a little bit here. So for example, let's just record this into the looper right now. I'm gonna click this button here. We're gonna be recording it. Perfect. I'm gonna just stop the ARP here for a second. And hear that little click here in the end? I'm gonna click D-click, it's gonna remove that. And we have a more fluid loop. And I can just play more things on top of it. Let me just shut the ARP off, or it's already off here. So this is called dub, when we play on top of something in the looper. That's the idea. So we can record anything, we can just blast it into the looper, all that stuff. Naturally, that was just a whistle. You can use all the instruments in Soundpaint as well. We're gonna come back to that. But I say we got started with all the submissions for our One Sound contest. This stream was called Winners and Loopers after all. So that's what we're gonna do. So we have quite a lot of submissions, and what we're gonna do is that we're gonna drag them into the looper, we'll listen to them, and then we'll fuck around. So that's the premise here. As I mentioned, let me just see if I missed anything in the chat. Forgive me just 2 seconds. He doesn't answer you, relax guys. I'm here, I'll try. If there's anything crucial, just post it again in case I missed it. Last time we had this One Sound contest, we got 2 submissions. We had 2 winners. And the winners were told that they should submit the next sound. So everything you're about to hear was either made with a coffee machine or a piano squeak. And I'm just gonna take, well, let me just try to put in the sound so we can actually listen to the original content, because I can also show how we can mess around with a looper. So here's the piano squeak right now. I'm gonna drag it into the looper. And here we are. What a beautiful thing. This thing here. I love it. So in the past, it was complex to do this. We needed to use other software and we needed to edit it, whatever. We don't have to do that anymore. We just take it into the looper. Let me just click sustain here so we can try to play with this squeak again. Squeak. Ooh, I love that sort of grind at the end there. Okay, that's the squeaker. And then we had these coffee sounds as well. And there's a couple of different ones, so people could choose. But I think, was it this one here? Whoops, that took me into brush. And go back to the looper here. I think it was this sound here. Oh yeah. So for those of you guys who appreciate espresso machines, there's a part where the water gets compressed. And that's this sound. And this is a perfect sound in my opinion, because it's tonal. So we can easily make this into a wicked playable synthesizer. We have analog filters. Let me show you. So let's go in here. I'm gonna click norm. That's gonna normalize the signal. I'm just gonna play here so you can hear the difference. There we go. What a pretty sound. I'm gonna click sustain here and then say what's called bake to part. You can also bake to brush, which puts it up in our user editor. We're not gonna do that today. So we're just gonna bake it straight to a part. And call it espresso. Okay, so now we have it here. And notice down here on the keyboard, it actually creates a label for you as well. And here we go. I mean, and let me show you how we can sort of make something more alive. This is one sample, so it is static when we repeat it. You can hear it's the same sample. So I'm gonna run that in the ARP, and then I'm gonna try to use some filters and our new vintage drift, and then you're gonna see how alive it actually becomes, just this single sound. All of a sudden it's a little more, we got a little more like bubbliness in it. Let's take this into the looper. I'm gonna click down here on, can you guys hear me when the looper is running as well? Because I keep turning the volume down. Tell me if I can speak on top of it or if it's just too loud, just so I know. So we have the loop here. It's not perfect, so I'm gonna go into the wave editor and the loop here and just like clean it up a little bit. Let's see here. Perfect. So now we have a loop. Okay, it's good with audio, perfect. So I'll just be talking and just tell me guys if it's too much. So we have it running right now, and I'm just gonna dub the same sound because it's still fully playable. We have it as an instrument here. I'll be putting that on top of the loop just to do a couple layers with it. Oh, it's not. Let's just distort it just to mess it up a little bit. It's a little too much. There we go. Now, one of my favorite, like, sort of tweaks to Soundpaint is that let me just go in here and load a drum kit up. We'll just take like an 808. You can never go wrong with the 808. And the loop is running. So notice how I loaded the instrument in real time. The loop is still running. That's what I'm talking about, like being in that flow state, being in the creative state at all times. So now we have the 808. But for me, I kind of want the whole loop to duck when I'm playing the 808, so the 808 stands out more. We call that side chaining in production, meaning that everything else sort of has to duck when we do it. That's where this new module or effect called pump shape comes into play. So with pump shape, I can duck the whole volume of the loop. You're going to see what I mean. So the 808 all of a sudden stands out more. And we can control like how quickly it fades. Then we can take like the same loop here and like, I mean, come on. So I'm gonna take this loop now and I'm gonna slice it into other things. So we call this loops within loops. It's sort of infinite, and often I find myself having better music on my second or third iteration right now. So I'm gonna take this loop right now, slice it up, and then we'll put that into the arpeggiator and mess it up some more. See how the transient detection just works? It just lays them out. So everything's already sliced up. I don't have to think about it. Even the keyboard label down here is done. We're good to go. So we have it sliced up now. And we can run that in the arpeggiator to see what happens. So we have a different group now. And again, apply filters to that and so forth. Just to give you an idea about like how deep the rabbit hole goes, how quickly we can get into new things, create new sonic worlds with a single click. So anyway, that was a brief introduction just to the looper. We're gonna get in and listen to all the one sound contests. Someone was asking like, will the looper replace USI? Our now defunct USI, such a boring word by the way, user sample importer, is sadly gone bye-bye. It's not sad at all because it was crappy to begin with. We have Brush. Brush is our new user import tool. It's not a part of the looper even though they work together. The looper has another editor that does more loopy kind of things, but this is Brush. Brush is the replacement for USI. And with that said, let's get into it here. We're going to be listening to all the one sound contests. I'm going to be dragging them in here. We're starting with Michael S. No pre-syllables. No pre-syllables. Oh, Eric, you will get lost for days. I can easily, like, it's kind of the same feeling you have when you play your favorite instrument and time just gets lost. It's exactly that. So, I think this came from the espresso machine. So let's take a slight part of this and make it into a loop. You'll notice we have this zoom marker here. When I move it around and move my mod wheel up, it'll zoom in on whatever part I want. So it's an easy way to really have accurate zooms on your loops here. Let's see if we can find something. Perfect. And And I'm gonna click trim up here. We're just gonna trim the loop down, and now we have it here. And again, we can do whatever we want. We can slice it, we can make it into sustain. Velocity here is designed for recording velocity-based instruments. So if you have a drum, for example, you hit it harder and harder, or a wine glass, the engine will automatically chop it up into velocities and do the same thing we just saw here. So think about it, that it's sort of a way to make instruments in real time, and you can make instruments out of loops. So let's just slice this guy up here to begin with. I'll just do 16 slices. We'll click detect transient. You can click it again and it'll like try to find different kind of transients. Let's see here. We'll bake that into a part, and now this is fully playable. So we made a new sliced loop out of a loop. Sometimes I like to play the loops in hand. That sort of goes with that more sort of like vintage kind of way of looking at it. It's a little more organic that way. So because it was such a quantized piece of music, I'm just gonna loosen a little bit up here. Notice this button here. I love this thing, and I please every other developer in the world copy this function here, because this is the way it should have always been. This is called record to MIDI. When it's on, the looper is armed. So whenever I play anything on the keyboard, it automatically starts recording. It makes it so much easier. So that was it. We got out of the loop. Perfect. Perfect. And since we have the 808 here, we might as well just, let me add a clap to that. And notice what I'm gonna do now. I'm gonna take the 808 and I'm gonna play it live, but I'm gonna modulate while I play it as well, just to sort of shake it up. I love playing with pan and stereo, also it's like more old school, and just hear how loose those claps are gonna get. I'm also gonna make this loop a couple times bigger, so I'm gonna click X2, that made it twice as big, and X2 again. So it's a little bit of a longer loop now, so we made it 4 times longer. And then we're gonna add some slutty claps. You hear how alive it is all of a sudden? That's the looper. And for me, for those of us who appreciate music made again 50s to the 90s, maybe early 2000s, that's one of the reasons we keep gravitating more back towards there's just a human in there. We took a relatively quantized loop, made it more alive. And notice right now, I'm just gonna try some different instruments. Notice how it's all in real time. I'm never out of the flow here. We never stop once. And for example here, I wish you could see my fingers. I played this way here. It's a trick by Greg Fillinganes, who played on Thriller. When he played some of the lines in there, the bass line as well, he played it more percussively. For me, it's a different style of playing. So sometimes like this, sometimes like this. When epic percussion, we don't always need to be elegant on our fingers. let's say I like this loop here, but I want to try to take the same loop and reverse it on itself. Hold down Shift, drag the loop here into another pod. And we now have the loop duplicated, but I'm going to click reverse down here. You hear that? So the way I look at I call these looper pods. There's 5 looper pods here. Is that these are like little tape machines. So even when you stop, you get the slowdown, and it's just to give you that sort of vibe of the past. Anyway, we have a lot of submissions here, so let me just completely do a clean slate here, start all over, clean it up here, and we're gonna go through some more submissions. But notice how we were never out of the flow. We were always just in there creating music. And for me, with the DAW, I spent at least 50% of my time bitching about all these over-engineered options. Where the fuck is this and that? I can't figure it out. And I'm taken out of the flow. And I think that's why we see loopers becoming more and more popular, because it brings us more back, particularly for those of us who create groove-based music. I'm not saying you're gonna write a giant symphony this way. That's more DAW territory. But the way Soundpaint is emerging in front of me is more and more to become this tool of organic music making, and let's build the engine from the inside out, but always with instruments in mind. Does that make any sense? Real time, I'm playing things for reals. Maybe it will turn into a mini DAW one day, we don't know. But this is the first step in a different direction where it's all about, like, you know, the love of making music. Let me see, I'm gonna take my camera a little bit here. You went a little too far over here. There I am. I guess I just revealed that this was not my actual widget studio, but that's a different story. So let's see here. This is Isaac Howlett, the previous winner, I believe, of the contest here. Let's listen to his masterpiece. It's kind of cool, like you can get so much out of an espresso machine. That ending right there, I love it. I'm gonna take this one and chop it into a sustain. So chop sustain, we're gonna call it. Just so I have it fully playable here. I mean, for me, that just screams hip hop right there. Let's try it. Let me use this guy again here. And I mean, I forgive me, I'm back to the 808 on that one. Like, this is just such an 808. Let's get our pump shape going again here. This time around, you're gonna notice I'm gonna click this little oven down here The term bake, I've just been fascinated with it, is the idea that we can bake something into the loop itself. So because we have this pump shape running right now, this guy here, where we're doing the side chain, I'm gonna put that into the loop. I want to bake it into the loop. Oh, I forgot to do it. Hold on, let me do this again. I'm going a little bit extreme just so you guys can really hear it. Okay, let's try again. You see how it ducks? And it just makes things sound so much more like modern and all that stuff. Like, I mean, we're here. If you wanted you guys hip hop, send it. I mean, hip hop. If you wanted you guys rap, I mean. We also built a time stretcher in here, so we can time stretch the loop as well. Let's try it. And so forth. Anyway, let's go to the next example here. This is Jorge Olivier's Rising 2. Let's see what this is about. Okay, so I was just writing in the chat here. Let me show you how we can modulate the loop. So let's take, for example, the panning here and start panning this guy here and put an LFO on it. So we can modulate our loops as well. And this is so neat. I love this thing here. We can add effects to each of the looper pod. So this entire effects section here is actually 6 more times duplicated into the engine here, 1 for each of the looper pod and 1 for this guy over here. We'll come back to this. This is our songwriting section. The reason it says coming soon is we just felt it was too much right now. There's so much to show already. And I kind of want to learn from you guys as well as we build this songwriter, what's the optimal way of, again, staying in the flow and then yet building a songwriter here with the caveat that we don't want to build a DAW, but it's hard not to sort of bump into the DAW conceptually at certain times, but really, we're gonna come back to this. But let me modulate this a little more here. Let me just reverse it on itself too. And then let's add some effects. So we're modulating the loop. It's complete madness. The looper will lead to many different rabbit holes. That was just one of them. Cool track, by the way. This is Project 28, another submission. So let me show you a little more how we, and this is how I most commonly use the looper, how we can use it with Soundpaint instruments. So let's just say you've created a loop just like this here. Let's just add a little bit of a bass here first. And see how I'm browsing through presets to find what I like. This was kind of cool. Okay, cool, we're gonna add that. I feel weird. Let's try to speed up a little bit. Yes, Jeff, I would love to show you how bar snap works. Jeff is asking down here, hey, what's this thing down here, bar snap? So I know I've been advocating that the looper is sort of a loose environment. You can play it loosely, but you can actually also play it more tightly. And this is the closest thing we're going to get to the idea of quantizing inside of a looper. I very much want to make the distinction. For me, quantizing the DAW, mainly, its main objective is to destroy music. And when you put things on a perfect grid, imagine I spoke on a perfect grid throughout this entire video, how incredibly boring it would be. Music for me doesn't really belong in a grid unless we're using arpeggiators. But sometimes, for example, if you want to have a really tight thing going, you may want to like connect to like 4 bars, or of course you can drop in loops from Splice or whatever, not Splice, but somewhere, your own loops ideally, or Splice. You can drop whatever you want into the looper here. I'm going to turn on the metronome right now here, and I'm going to set bar snap to 1. So 1 means that we're going to get 4 counts on the metronome here. And for me, I don't know about you guys, but I'm so sensitive to metronome sounds. So I built it in here so we can actually have different kind of metronomes, but they're very, like, for the most part, non-intrusive. Like this is a perfect metronome for me. It's sort of out of the way, but we know we have like 4 beats to play here and they will snap to this one here. So let me try to find this out here. Let's just take a bass to start with. Let me do this one more time. So we now, and once we start using other looper pods, they will always synchronize. The way loopers work is that the first thing you record becomes sort of the mother loop for all the children. I like to think of it as a mother and 4 children. So I'm gonna put bar snap down here to 1 again. And we just know it's gonna sync. That's bar snap for you. And one thing I love doing with this, and you can really get some cool Daft Punky kind of grooves, is to just dub in a single sound. You don't have to do a whole loop. Let me just start. So I'm gonna pan this guy out here. Let's put a little more plate on it. So check how I click dub right now, but just for a brief second to get in there. Now, we can also just let dub run. This is where the madness begins. So yeah, that's bar snap for you. It's for the times when you want to be a little more on the beat, or maybe you have a specific groove in a specific tempo that you really just want locked. That's what bar snap is for. Free here means that you're just recording at a free speed. I know Thomas Newman has worked a lot of this. He refers to these guys as motors. It's the idea that that you can play something. Let me just show you here. I'll take let's just take a synth pad or something. This guy here, and I'll do a couple different loops, each in the free mode here, so we're not snapping to any bars, and it sort of creates a more experimental kind of Brian Eno-esque environment where each of the loopers run independently of the other one. So see it as 5 tape machines that are not synchronized. So that's one, and then another one here. Oh, this one actually, you'll notice that this one had bar snap number 1 on, so that means that it actually synchronized to this guy here. The sync button up here is important. This one has to be off, forgive me. Sync means that it will synchronize to the length of the first one here. You click it off and you get independent running motors. But anyway, back to the submissions here. We got Louise Henrique Xavier. You know, it's funny that your username is Hal9000. I love what you just said, that we are in an age of AI sounds. For me, it just doesn't work. And can I just say, forgive me for sounding, this is like preachy interruption for a second here. I've seen a couple of videos where people are like, oh my God, like if you want to make it in music, like you have to use like Suno or some other shitty AI service. Like, no. If you use Suno, not only is it completely illegal, trained on our data and many other people's, but you're also going to sound like everyone else. The algorithm searches for what's in the middle. For me, art, and this is what the looper informs as well, lives on the fringes. It lives on the outside of the middle. The middle is like saying that McDonald's is the greatest food just because they have the most restaurants in the world. It's a horrible argument. The finer arts, the longevity in music, their state, timelessness lives in deep production, learning to be on the journey with the music, grow with it, happy accidents. You know, Bob Ross talked a lot about that. I love that for the painterly analogy. Happy accidents, so important. All right, so keep us updated on the hailstorm. You can just stick your phone out the window. It doesn't matter. It's just something. I love it. I mean, this is some experimental shit right here. An espresso machine on steroids. Let's try to slow it down as much as we can. Like, we're gonna just slow it down. Or are we? Or did I just crash the engine? No. It could be kind of fun to chop this up, slice this up, and see if we can make rhythms with these like slow sounds. Let's just try. This is really messed up, but that's sort of the point. Oh. Something happens when you slice up sounds. I'm just gonna normalize this to get the volume up a little bit. Okay, I guess I already was. You get the idea. That was almost a little like massive attacky. We have a Daniel Zambo's Zambo. I mean, the second I heard this, I know exactly what I'm gonna do with this thing. This is sort of very trappy to me, and we have this drum kit here. I just know the 522 is gonna work here because it's so deliciously in this style. Sometimes for me with groups, I like to lay down like one element at a time because we can overdub as many times as we want. So let me just layer down the snare here. I'm gonna put a little bit of reverb on the snare, and then I'm gonna remove, maybe put some other effects on the other elements here. So it's a really cool way of sort of routing all the different aspects of your drum machine into the loop. So you hear the reverb. I'm gonna kill it here on the bass drum. So you see how I'm just layering elements? And as I mentioned earlier, just let's slice it up here. I love doing that because like, okay, that was like an addition to the original loop, and now I can loop on top of that. And I like to put in the arpeggiator and then sometimes just take random keys and it'll generate something more random. Let's see here. That's kind of cool. And because it's sliced up, we can adjust the tempo as well. Yeah, there it is. Right? I mean, this shit is real time. I'm gonna use our boost module here. Booster is multiple ways of saturating, slight distortion, more like overdrive your sound here. We can EQ it. Sweet. It's just that idea that we're constantly just taking stuff and putting it on top of other stuff. Oh my God, we have so many submissions. Okay, I gotta speed it up a little bit here. I may not play with every loop. I might just talk a little bit, but let's go through the loop here. This is Brett Claren. I like that. Daniel's samples was cool. I like that one. They're all cool, but it's so hard to choose winners. So for me, this just makes me giggle, and I really think like humor is so underrated in music. There's just something funny about this. Nice, nice, that was good. Brett Claren. Just in Time, the track was called. It sounded, sure as hell sounded like it. Someone in the chat is asking, like, they're not so interested in the looper, they want to know what's in Soundpaint 5. Let me just briefly show you that, and then we'll get back to it. We have Brush, that's our new like sample editor here where we can import sounds. We have multiple new racks. The racks have also been reorganized in more logical categories. We have new effects. There's more here, especially on the dynamics, pump shape, we've gone through that. And then we have a brand new arpeggiator as well that has a variety of new features from swings to chord inversions, 128 steps. You can glue steps, you can do all sorts of crazy stuff with them. That's Soundpaint 5 for you. The looper is a part of that. The two are designed to go together. Oh, and I actually forgot to say this in the first one. The engine is also multi-timbral now. So you can have 4 programs that each have 8 parts. That's 32 instruments running at the same time, if that's your jam. That's also leading the path down to MPE. For those of you guys who are interested in MPE, you may know that it requires all 16 MIDI channels, and it requires the engine to be multi-timbral to do it. This is the first step. But because we have so many parts, there's a lot of math to figure out. 32 instruments in one program is pretty heavy. So yeah, anyway. This is a Keenan Earl submission here. That's cool. It might have been a little bit longer. The looper only, just so you guys know, the looper only allows for 1 minute. We may open it up down the line and make it more, but for right now, at least in beta, it's 1 minute per loop. That's normally the way it goes. Keep in mind, we can dub all these different times, so there's a lot of stuff going to memory. Once you have 5 loops going, it can be quite a lot. So we try to keep it because I really want this to be also a laptop kind of friendly instrument. So yeah, that's the horrible math of engineering. Nulla Corda here. Let's check this one out. And that's just me right now playing with the loop. As you may know here, we have our effects button down here, so I can apply effects to the loop itself. So I just applied some gate, just try it out. And when we talk about modulating the loops, I showed you how you can modulate the pan up here, but we can also modulate the effects per loop. So let me recycle this guy here again, and then just try to modulate the gate here a little bit. And notice up here with the graphic here, how it gets sort of distorted to tell you like, hey, like this is the effects for the looper. Normal effects look different here. Every time you see things being distorted here, it means that something is going on, something is alive. You'll notice it down here in the effects as well. Cool. It's so fun with this one sound stuff because each of the tracks, there's something happens when you only have one sound. It creates a specific form of sound, if you will. It's also going to be interesting as we continue this contest and we get it inside the looper as well. Like, what kind of music will people make when you don't have to log it to a grid? I love it. Very industrial. I just noticed here with my Coke bottle here. Let's try something. I'm going to turn the microphone on here. And let me just make a playable bottle. That's sort of a sweet sound here. Isn't it so cool that we can do live stream and record at the same time? I didn't even know that was possible before we started this. We also made it so you can take parts and duplicate them. So if I take a part here, hold down Shift, now we have a duplication of that part. I'm gonna make a hard pan here, left and right. I'm gonna detune this guy a little bit on the micro pitch and we get a little broader patch. I mean, for me, that's beautiful. And we can take a part here, let's take like a CS80, I don't know, something kind of sustained, maybe a CS80 pad of sorts. Pad core stereo. Oh, we're almost in tune here. No, it's not CPU intensive. We're at like 1% right now. This is super light stuff. It's just one sample. It's so cool to have a vintage synthesizer and a real organic sound play at the same time. Keep in mind, when we talk about CPU, this is a single core. When we speak about CPUs in this day and age, they're made from many cores. So everything you're seeing here is coming from an individual core. If you take it to the DAW, each instance of the looper gets assigned to a core. So it's CPUs, it can be a little bit of a confusing term sometimes. Oh, thank you, Dave. That is very, very nice of you to say. I totally agree that a lot of this comes down to figuring out the logic. That's what's been taking so freaking long for me. Especially create logic around the idea of staying in the creative flow at all times. That's the difficult part. It has been, it seems so simple, and it's been incredibly difficult. As I wrote in the newsletter, I'm also scared shitless to present this, like something could go wrong. We're still in beta, but so far it's worked. It hasn't broken once. I've not been taken out of my creative flow state at once either. We've been running for, I don't know, an hour. That for me is magical. And I guess sometimes when it's magical, like it's seemingly simple on the surface. My mom was a translator, and she always said, like when she did subtitles for TV, that the best subtitles were the ones you didn't notice. It is, but that doesn't mean, thought didn't go into it. You guys shouldn't have to bother anyway. But yeah, thank you, man. Thank you. That means a lot to me. I think to do this type of work, make something so simple and yet so challenging at the same time is pretty hard. For example, just getting the microphone to work here. Anyway, I can go on. Let's listen to Annie's Osamershi, Hypnotic Speech. It's beautiful. Oh, Eric, this is addictive. It's funny when you make this and you, I think it's so, the reason I said I was scared shitless to do this live stream is that I really fucking love this tool here. It makes me so happy. I'll easily lose like 3-4 hours just when I'm sitting in front of the piano, same kind of feeling. So I'm so glad that it's rubbing off a little bit, because sometimes it's like, am I the only person in the world like who just feels this is just the intuitive, gratifying way of making music? So I hope you feel the same, man. I love the build up. The beginning here was really beautiful. Thank you, Nancy. I did see your very kind line. almost has a little bit of a Johan Johansson kind of vibe to it, like Arrival. Oh, thank you, DB. I get so moved. Like, it's so strange to see you guys order. It's not even out yet. I appreciate that so much. Really, really kind of you. That worked. Wow. I also think sometimes, like, I'm genuinely surprised sometimes, and maybe it's because I'm still like, there are just so many ways of using it. It's just so much fun. It works. Santiago Lozano wants sound here. Something tells me when we do the next contest using the looper that things are going to be more loose. Every single track we've listened to right now has been quantized. Nothing wrong with that, but I do love when things are a little more loose. We get a little more groove into it. Thanks, Jeff. And you can always, if you want me to back up at any point, I'll happily do so. For me, this is really designed to be, as fluid and easy as possible. Let me show you guys one more thing here in the editor. The editor can find loop points by itself as well. So let's just see what I found right now. And we also have stuff like fades, crossfades, all that stuff. But let's see this loop here, how well it worked. I was using the find loop mode here. The find loop looks for transient, but this is a little bit of a long, unique groove here. Let's see if we find some now. Okay. I like this very cool groove, very mellow. Should we let's try the Chariots of Fire synthesizer. I might have been overdubbing a little much there. Sometimes the tracks are nice on their own. They don't always need to be cross-pollinated. Aaron Moon, here we go. It's nice. It's nice he's using the tonal elements. It's nice. Very nice, Aaron. Let's speed up a little bit. Yeah, let's mess it up. Let's mess it up. I'm just layering a stack of drums here. I'm just gonna slice that up just to mess it up some more here. Let's try here. Let's try again. Forgive me, I'm sure you guys can hear the key sounds here. Notice here that I didn't like what I just did here, so I just undo it here. So if I play something like that I don't really like, let's try again here. Say like, I don't really like here. I'll just click undo here, and now it's out. And I love having that sort of undo function in real time, because I'm not taken out of the groove here. It's like, oh shit, I messed up, but I'm still in the groove. Whereas with the DAW, it's like stop, going back, starting over and all that stuff. For me, kind of like when you're jamming and you're practicing, I don't want to be taken out of the flow. I think it's more important to stay in the flow than virtually anything else in music. That's just me being maybe tired of the old ways of making music. Or maybe going back to the old ways of making music, forgive me. Oh my goodness! All right, it is time for a
live demonstration.
A live demonstration. Oh my god! So you're the ghost sitting in and out.
Oh my god! Hi, where's the camera?
The camera's up here.
Okay. I just interrupt this.
I love this. So you want to record something?
Yeah, let's record something live and just show. I don't know
I love that.
if I can do these because this is like a sound you don't hear very often. It's a frequencies of G and C. So I want to see if we can layer.
Okay, the mic is up here as well.
Okay, I want to see if we can layer the perfect fifth.
Okay, so let me see. I'm gonna turn the mic
Let's
on.
see here.
You ready to record?
Yeah, hold on. But this is gonna be intense. I'm gonna stand back.
Okay.
Where's the recorder?
It's up. The webcam is recording right up here. Okay, perfect.
But can you? I wonder if you can detect that.
Oh yeah, now I have it right here.
Okay.
But I spoke in the beginning of it, so let's try to do it one more time, and,
Okay,
and I'll shut up. Okay, 2 seconds. I'm not ready. You ready?
Okay.
Oh, sorry, 2 seconds. 2 seconds. One more time here. Out and here. No, not out. Sorry, I'm doing the wrong way. Microphone. Okay. Perfect. I have it here.
Okay.
It's kind of that part right there is like your cloth. It's kind of like you can hear it here.
Oh, it's pretty faint. Okay, yeah. I think maybe like from here to here.
Oh, you want to chop a little bit at the first? You don't want that.
I don't want the attack.
Okay, try this one here. See if that's better. Let's see if this is better. Is that better? Oh, you want it even softer?
Well, let's see what you can do with that. I mean, this is just an experiment.
But tell me where you like it the most. Like here?
Yeah, there.
Perfect. Okay. So we're gonna trim this and we're gonna make it sustainable here. So we can play with your, what do they call it? Tas bells? What tas to?
These are my tuning forks. So this is representing like the sound healers out there because I plan on doing sound baths with this looper. So I'm going to try to figure out if I can. This is something I wouldn't normally do in a sound bath.
Right.
So I'm seeing if I can actually put the frequency.
Right.
Cool.
Okay, let me play a little bit with that.
Play with that. And then can we layer another note?
Oh, you want to layer? What do you want to layer now?
The C.
Let's see here. The C.
C.
Oh, so you have a different one.
Yeah, I have a different one that I wanted to layer to make the perfect fit.
Oh, I see. So we're gonna record that into. Let's record that into a separate loop here as well. Okay, you ready for that?
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
Did I just do the same note?
Yeah, you did.
Okay, let me do it.
But keep in mind, I can make it a perfect fifth. In fact, it's probably more perfect than the computer.
Okay, let's do that. Let's do that.
So, let me see here. I have it right here. Yeah, this is as perfect as it will get. It's
Okay.
computer perfect. Okay, so let me just add a little bit of like. Oh, it's cool. They're looping. They just keep running. So check this out here.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
Wow.
And then, but check this out here. Then we're gonna add this thing on top. Now we're all.
Oh, that's so pretty.
Right? Now you're in heaven all of a
I feel
sudden.
like this could almost be like spa music. That's organic.
We could also try to reverse it. Hold on, check this out.
Okay, that's sick. Okay, I can't believe that.
I know.
Wow.
We're nerding out on live stream.
What about
you
the
want to do the
bowl?
bowl? Yeah, hold on. Let's do the
Okay.
bowl as well. Okay. Okay, I'm done. 2 seconds. Okay. Great.
And this is the great grounding C, so you can put that with
The grounding
other-
C. Okay,
the
got it.
grounding C.
We're gonna slice that into another sustain here. We're gonna grounding C. And notice up here, we actually have both of your instruments here at the same time, so we can go back and forth. I'm just gonna turn this guy off for now, but we have your bowl. Oh my God, check this out.
Okay. Whoa.
Soundpaint therapy.
Okay, that's so cool. I can't even believe this.
This is the first time you've actually heard this.
This is the first time I've done this, and I have a big amp, and I want to play live, but it'd be kind of cool to incorporate some layers.
Oh yeah, look.
You know what I mean? Because I use a backing track now of stuff that I do, and then I play.
Yeah.
I'm running around, and obviously.
I'm gonna tune it with the tuning forks. Oh my god, they're almost in key already. This is randomly just how they go together right now. So them playing together. Yeah, it's alive!
Okay, I guess I'm gonna make a label now.
Yeah. I had no idea. I had no idea
So
if it
cool.
worked. Yeah, it is so cool.
It's so easy. All right, well, thanks for letting me interrupt.
Aw, thank you, Ta. That's so sweet of you. That's so sweet.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thank you. Wow.
I feel like I'm Mr. Rogers a little bit. Popping in.
Oh my god. Oh, hold on. Oh, we gotta record
Okay.
that one. That's my favorite. Okay, let me just open another one.
Add that, yeah.
And we'll just loop it. Just. We'll just loop it. Just. Oh my god, this gun sounds so pretty. You know, this is through a web camera, keep that in mind, and it's a little bit noisy, but that's so beautiful too. You know, just wait, like, so let me try to slice this one up here. Bells. And I'm gonna turn these guys off here. Let's see how this sounds here.
And now I want to add a hum, like
Right.
like a.
And you can actually. You want to record your sound? Let's
Yeah,
try to sing. I'll. Don't worry.
My vocals aren't warmed up.
That doesn't matter.
Okay.
Don't worry. Perfect. Don't worry. Can you hear yourself?
Yeah. Can you lower my hum?
Yeah, I can lower. We can play with your
So
hum.
it sounds like a monk's hum or something?
Don't worry.
This is so weird for me. I'm not used to it.
I know. You're just like,
You're like,
sing, dance, monkey, dance. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. Let's try it. When is Tanya's healing instrument library coming out?
Soon. No, I'm working on that. I've been working on that for like 3 years. But I felt like I really needed to. I've been doing one-on-one sessions with people. I really need to understand these frequencies before I put something out. So it's my dream to do that, actually. But right now I'm working on a 45-minute sound bath to release. This is a really beautiful part. This could be a part of my sound bath, actually.
Why not?
Like the very beginning, just like maybe a little more C or a Schumann resonance underneath that you can barely hear, which Troels and you and I debate about that all the time. And it's true, we have to have a very low bass to actually feel it. But when you can feel it, it's...
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, and now after all these years I've become an artist. It's kind of fun, and this is so cool. Now all I want to do is do this.
I know. I joke around, like, in building this tool, we're really building it to make ourselves happy, and with the hopes that other people will feel the same, you know? So this is the first time.
Yes, and I haven't seen Troels in like 5 months, and before that 6 months, and you know, this is like this is a all-time, full-time, double-time job, and yeah, it's not for the faint of heart. So
nope.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we're back. We're back, bitches. No, we took a long pause because of just kind of contemplating where to go and where to take this. But when Troels started working on the looper, I know this is something you thought about for 7 or 8 years. So we're happy to demo it now.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody.
Also, speaking of live demonstration stuff, do you have a link to YouTube that I can see so we can try to grab your recording? We'll be putting it through the similar thing as we just did here. I have to try to play a little bit with those bells.
Yeah, well, we have 4 of them, different tones.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
How to save it? That's a good question. And it's kind of funny that we haven't even discussed that as well. Great, I love that question. So there are many ways we can save it here. We have new options here, and I should mention this as well. You can now manage your libraries up here, your looper directories, that would be everything from here, and your brushes as well. If you want to export any loop here, you can click this icon here, and it will export it. You may have noticed every time we made a loop, I typed it in, so they're already exported right when we're done making. The second you're done recording, you give it a name, and there you go. So it's already saved on my desktop here. Let's try to take all 4 Tina's recordings here and put them together. We have this thing here. And I'm just going to clean up the looper. Remember, we still have the parts up here, so we're good. I'm just going to clean it out so we can try to record something with them. Yeah, I hear a rhythm in the beginning. Da 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 da. I cut a little too abruptly. Someone is asking, what is brush? Brush is up here in the UI. This is our user sample importer. I'm not demoing it today, but this is essentially where you can drag in your own samples. They'll lay out automatically. It can actually program itself if you have a complex, say, recording a piano with velocities and all that. If you name your files correctly and just drag it into AutoMap here, it will automatically map. It can fill all the gaps. It can find loop points, all the stuff here. So it's essentially a user sample editor built into Soundpaint here. The reason I'm not demoing it today is because we have a different variation of it inside a looper. So there are 2 different kind of editors. This one is designed with looping in mind, and Brush is more traditional sample editor. I mean, right there. Let me turn one more time. Try something else here. We're going to turn T up a little bit here. Aaron, that's a good question. How do you learn to name the files correctly? You'll notice in the final version that we have tutorials built in here. Did we add them here yet? Edit. Let me see here in the looper. I know we had them somewhere. Aaron, needless to say, there'll be tutorials about everything, and they will be built into the engine as well. I swear I had it up here in Brush. Export, manage, sorry, they're removed for now. So there's a file edit and a help directory that's going to be in the final version here, so you can do it. And we actually, just like we did for the filter, we have live tutorials built into the engine, so you can just click straight from the engine and access the tutorials, whether those are written, which they will be, or whether they're video based as well. For me, it's again the same thing. I just want everything to live inside of the engine. I don't want to go anywhere else. So all that's going to be there. Good question. It can also be fun to like sometimes it can be interesting to chop stuff up that is not normally, like, you wouldn't chop this up. Like, why would you chop ambient music up? Let's just try. I'm gonna chop this up to 32 pieces, so we have like a bunch of little ambient snippets running through the art. Let's see what happens. It's kind of cool. And let me just I haven't demoed like the art at all. Check this out here. Say we want to kind of glitch some of these things here. Right? So that's another way of taking the loops into the art, then tweak it up. Then we can record this madness as well if we want. Pure madness. Back to the contest here. We still have about 10 more songs to go through. This is Ben Swithin's Coffee Plat Plat. Oh, there was. There was. slice that up. That's kind of cool. See what we can do with some slicing and dicing. Let's turn the tempo down a little bit. Ooh. I mean, right there. Right? It's a shame. Let's talk about the CS80 for a second here. You're right, I do love it. And it's weird because the CS80 to me is not the prettiest sounding synthesizer. That would be the 505. That's my favorite. But the CS80 has one thing going for it that the 505 and the Model D and the Prophet 5 and the Oberheim and a few others have. This is where we get into the rarity of synthesizers, including the first Moog modulars. It's that it fits the music no matter what. It always fits. So that's whether you go from Todos to from Toto to Vangelis, from Quincy Jones Thriller to Kool and the Gang. It doesn't really matter. Those synthesizers are just so good. And the CS80 just glues to whatever you do, whether it's a contemporary mix, whether it's old school, it doesn't matter. It simply just works. And when you open the CS80 and look into it, the same with the old vintage, the other ones, it's super, super complex and it's always alive. So in a weird way, what we're doing with the looper here is the same thing, is to make the music alive, small imperfections. I showed you, if you're around earlier in the video here, we have this vintage drift thing here that will, let me see if I can use on the slices actually. Oh yeah, it's working. So it actually makes this, even each slice right now a little more alive and organic. Never mind that we have analog model filters too. But if you listen here, it's like, this is supposed to be like slices, but they're kind of alive. Same philosophy. And it really came from when Ta and I worked with Dave Smith, who built the Prophet synthesizer. We built a couple of Prophets together. I learned so much about analog technology, and it's in the root of the engine. Even Soundpaint itself, the code base, has slight fluctuations in it to always sort of seem alive like real music. Kind of like this groove here. And because it's sliced, we can also play with the tuning. Right? That came all from the same thing. Ghostbusters. Let me take this one here. And let me try to slice it up here. Let's do a little bit of glitching again. See if we can get it right this time. And we can also shorten each step now. That's a whole different thing. I mean, to me, that sounds pretty good. Let's try it. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, that part sounds fucking good. I mean, to me, that's pretty fresh. Hate to say it. No, I don't hate to say it. Why would I say hate to say it? I don't hate to say it. I love saying it. Okay, so I won't use the CS80 this time. I'll use the 505 instead because I kind of like it even more. That may be a little too old. So let me show you something, and I keep doing this here. So I'm just gonna take a variety of small snippets from the Model D here and insert them using the dub. I did it once earlier, and it's a trick I keep coming back to. Oh, Aaron, the 505, it is extraordinary. I think it's, in a newsletter, I called it the greatest synth you never knew. And it's not to like shamelessly promote it here. It is a fantastic sounding synth. I think the greatest of the undiscovered ones. Like it's right up there with the D and the CS80 and the Prophet 5. But you see how I'm inserting small snippets right now? I mean, you can't really take any more, but I'm just adding needlessly. And we can also, I mean, if you really, I spoke about earlier about like taking things and slicing them up again. Let me slice this one more time here. Let me just into 16 pieces at a time. So we already sliced it once. We're slicing the same, I mean, this is really like, you know, a meat grinder, a loop grinder. I love that sound like that. You hear how modern that sounds, but also how good, like, it's because we're using vintage components. So that was 3 rounds of slicing to get to this point here. That's what I'm saying, that loops within loops within loops within loops we find something new, and sometimes, let's throw this in the art, let's just see. And I feel this should be slow. It's endless. I gotta stop. I gotta stop myself. It's just to show like how deep the rabbit hole goes. We can keep going and going and going. And that said, we have more submissions. This is Janusz Bagi's promptly named Coffee Machine. So in terms of the loop and degradation, the answer is the same as our time stretcher. So whatever you find comfortable with the time stretcher, like we have a really solid time stretcher, but you know, depending on your taste. I love, oh, nice. Nice. Isn't it amazing? We've been primarily listening to coffee machines and occasional piano squeaks. That was the contest, just one single sound. Here is Luis Ricardo's coffee game, so more coffee sounds. Keep in mind, it's the same sound source. I mean, this is perfect like video game score. Speaking of degradation, we're minus 54. Do you guys want to hear a cool story? I'll make it very brief. When the universe was created, the first waves that came out of the Big Bang were about 54, this is why I remember it, but in this case 54 octaves below the human hearing range. And that means one oscillation takes about 1 million years just to form a single sine wave. I find that so fascinating. Today we know with the electromagnetic field radiation or background radiation, you can see the waveforms, we can translate them into sound as well. This was just 54 semitones. And it's gonna take a while to get through this pace here. Let's get it up again. I love we just got it right to the ending. Oh, that ending there. You hear that? That little at the end? Oh, so I want that sound for me is kind of magical. Let's see here. Wow. I'm gonna click sustain here and turn this sound into like a sustained sound here. You see how I just saved right now? That's how we saved that initial sound. let me just see if this works. We've actually been updating our time stretcher here. So I can hear degradation down about 50% in the time stretcher. As you'll see, sometimes the looper is also to try different things. Sometimes like, you know, a happy mistake. Sometimes it's like, okay, I can use that, but like sometimes magic happens like we had right before. Here is Dubois de la Fuente, Across the Sea, also a submission. That's nice. I like it already. Yeah, a little more loose on the grid too. Nice. You remember earlier, if you were in this stream here, how I said that there's one sound that was a sustained buzz and that was more musical. There's other coffee sounds that were more percussive. Whenever something has a sustained tone, it's just very tonally friendly. I love that beginning here. That's totally me right there. Remember I mentioned the 505, how it just works like the CS80? Check this out. I know it's gonna work because it works on everything. The secret behind the older synthesizers, and especially recording them well, speaking of the CS80, I think the CS80 we did alone is like 1/3 of all of Omnisphere, whatever. It's completely different like depth of sampling. For me, the old synthesizers are not as thick, and when you record them in such great detail, even down to round robin, it's always alive. So treating old vintage synthesizers with the same respect that we do with acoustic instruments really, really makes a difference, and record them very, very deeply. See, right now I was like, that was a little too much. So I redid it, I removed it, and I can bring it back again because it's undo redo. Exactly, Aaron. That's how I see it as well. They are real instruments. They really, really are. And if you really want to get into like the depths of it, like for every single unit you have of the vintage synthesizers, this is why sometimes I record more than one, because the analog circuitry, CS80 is a good example. They probably only have 10, 15 years more to live because the chips are no longer made and the chips just falling apart. Right now, you can be lucky to find certain units, and each unit have different colors. So it's so beautiful to see. It's just like acoustic instruments, really unique. Here's Ian Baxter's heavy on the coffee. A lot of coffee talk today. You know, Kai, I agree with you. I do find, I think a lot. I used to do a lot of commercial music, but often these days I find sometimes just making music to and for and with myself, and with the ideal sort of thought that I want to make stuff I want to listen to. It may not be for anyone else, but at least it's for me. And the more we pay attention to small details and bring the life back in the music and work with instruments of this sort of grade, the more longevity we put into the music. For me, and forgive me for sounding a little bit like sorry, this track just took over my thoughts. I just want to try to slice this up completely. And I'm just going to make a raw grid. We're not even going to use transient detection. We're just going to slice it up. I was just going to say, like for me, allowing a little bit of chaos in the music, you can see we're dealing with a form of imperfection here, is so important. That's how all the great freaking music was ever made. So it's interesting that we got so much into the DAWs to work on grids and quantize everything when real music doesn't live on a grid, you know? All right, so we sliced it up. Let's see what happens. Let's put it in the arc. So this one for me is a little bit harder to crack. It's a little more of a musical puzzle. Often, if you can't find a rhythm, put filters on it, and all of a sudden you start getting more rhythmic definition. And if it's still a little bit loose, like I feel it's a little bit like we can always make it slightly more stiff by using our offset module here, and then go a little bit into the sample. I mean, even that didn't help. Remember that we cut it statically. We didn't use transient detection, so it's just a static cut that has nothing to do with rhythm. That's why it's a little bit like random. But there's also something kind of like cool and unnerving about this, because it's not what we thought it was going to be. Sometimes I get stubborn. I'm just like, I'm gonna find something to use it for, you know? So why don't we just use one sample instead? And sometimes, and I don't give myself too much time, sometimes if I just don't feel it, and this is also how the looper is designed, I just like, okay, clean up real quick, that was just a scratch, we move on to the next thing. That's important as well as we draft our way through creativity. We can't always find it. I didn't really find, I tried enough things here, it's like, nah, fuck it, let's move on. And we're gonna move on to Adam Ferenczi's The Wanderer. Wow. Yeah, the beginning was very late runners. That was beautiful. Let's try to slice this up as well. That was so beautiful. Or maybe it shouldn't be sliced up. It's so pretty on its own. I mean, I have the 5x5 loaded. You get the point. We have 3 more submissions, and then we need to start picking some winners as well. I'm so curious. What do you guys think? Which tracks did you really like? Here's Major's Bondanelli's Cloudy Water. It really is endless. Yeah, we're gonna announce the community winners at the very end here. See, let's just see if I can find them. That's cool. I'm gonna listen to one more here. 2 seconds. That was Cloudy Water. We have CD Baksu's latte contest. Oh, that's nice. Let me start over. That's nice. I love this one. I love this one here. So speaking of winners, the third winner in our community contest, this is where you guys gave the votes. Again, we have 2 different ways to celebrate the winners. We have the community votes, and then we have what we internally felt. And I'm not even sure about that yet. But the Wanderer here was number 3rd. This would be Adam Ferenci's The Wanderer. Let me just play for you guys again. That one. So that lovely piece came in as number 3, and Dubeli de la Fuentes Across the Sea came in as number 2. That one. That was the 2nd place in our community contest, and then we had Bled Clarence, Just in Time, as number 1. It got the most votes. That's a nice beginning. So that was number 1. And as we're reaching the ending here, feel free to ask me any questions. Regarding Soundpaint 5 and the Looper and the difference between them, everything in Soundpaint has always been free. The entire engine is for free. Everything, like our new brush module here, all our new racks in here, the reorganization, all our new effects, the new arpeggiator, all that is for free. The only thing that is not is the Looper. We just feel that it's been such big development. It's been years. It's pretty costly to create these things as well. So we're trying to balance it out. We always want the majority of the engine to be free, but as we start doing more explorations, really trying unique concepts here, we try to charge like 69 is pretty good. I think like 99 as well. But we try to be like, as humble as we can about it. Let me know if you guys got any other questions. We still have to figure out the winners. I kind of feel I want to take a step back and just listen to these again, and then on the next live stream I'll announce the the winners from the judge here. I just feel there's so many cool tracks, and I've been so distracted with the looper in this video here, so I'm going to take my time and communicate that. But most importantly, thank you, and certainly thank you to the 3 winners as well. That's so cool to see what you guys are doing with it here, and imagine like how much you can tweak things in the looper now as we get into it. But we'll come back on the next live stream, talk a little more about the next contest as well, how we're going to mangle it. The looper is not out yet. As we write on the website, it's going to be out the summer of 2026. It has not failed once in this live stream here, so that tells me we're getting pretty close. Think about the fact that we've stayed in the creative flow at all times. There was not one interruption in the 2.5 hours we've been running here. I was never out of my creative flow state. So that's really what the value of the looper is for me. There's also a little button up here called Session Recording. If you click it, it'll record everything you do in perpetuity. So if you ever want to take it into your DAW or back in the looper or whatever, you can do that. But you can record for as many hours as you want. See it as an additional tape recorder that's just recording everything you do. So sometimes there can be beauty in the happy accidents. We're going to come back to the songwriter here. And with all that said, unless there's someone who has a question, I'm so honored and happy that all you guys showed up today. It's so much fun, and thank you, Ty, as well, for joining in. Thank you, Nancy. There's a couple family members that are here on the thread as well. And yeah, thank you. Thank you. Also, thank you for supporting Soundpaint and ADO, allowing us to push technologies in new directions. Really, really means a lot. This is a pretty personal project. So yeah, see you in the next live stream. Thank you so much. Thank you for indulging in this sonic infinity.